so many people have so many misconceptions about work, and definitely the communist types definitely do. They seem to think there's two classes of people. There's the capitalists or the business owners, and then there's the laborers, and the laborers are constantly being taken advantage of. But the way I look at the world is we're all workers. I work every day of my life. In fact, I work way harder than most people who consider themselves to be workers, and take a lot more risks, of course, because of being an entrepreneur. But people just need to get out of the mindset of, I'm a worker, I'm a laborer, I should join a union so I can get more money. It's like, no, improve yourself and go look for places where there is opportunities, as Colin pointed out. Now, North Dakota, that might be changing. So I got a huge helicopter or something flying behind me. But that might be changing with the drop in price of oil, but that's how the economy works. That's how life works. Things change, and you got to roll with the punches and find new opportunities. And you were pointing out too, Callan, that they're in Querétaro. I know that state has been absolutely booming. So that might be a place that people may want to consider going.
For sure. And about the oil, you're right. That's definitely tapering off. The demand of jobs is not as high as it was a year, 2 years ago, but they're still looking for people. I stay in contact with previous clients, stay in contact with the people that I have, interview, obtain information from peers that I've worked with. So again, if that's not an option, let's say, you're afraid of cold weather. You also have West Texas. West Texas is another region that also has lots of jobs, has more jobs than people. That's something to consider. As far as Querétaro, absolutely. I would definitely advise people, depending on which entrepreneur path they want to go through. You could be a lifestyle entrepreneur like myself. You can be a social entrepreneur. You can be a serial entrepreneur. You can be a franchise entrepreneur. Like, there's so many paths. But Querétaro does have a lot of opportunities. And I can tell you here, there's lots of businesses that you can open up here. Like, now, don't get me wrong. If you want to go the route, let's say to apply for, let's say a formal, work visa. Absolutely, there's nothing wrong with that, obviously. But what I can tell you is there are expats who are starting businesses in booming economies like Querétaro who have no work visa. You have to make the decision for yourself. But I know people, San Miguel, Querétaro, and other places who have successful businesses without a work visa. Cops don't bother them. Essentially, as long as you don't make too much money, they won't bother you. But the opportunities are plentiful. You can have a restaurant. You can obviously look at deficiencies, things that they don't have in Mexico. You see it's working in the U.S. You can duplicate that model in Mexico. Again, the opportunities are plentiful.
Yeah, I'm not sure you even really need legally. Not that it matters too much in Mexico, as you know. Here's one thing that many people don't even think about that to me is just obvious, is to try to become a contractor for whatever employer you're working for. So if you have a job with them, let's say you run a backhoe and you're working for a construction company, don't become an employee of that company. If the company says they want to hire you, say you have your own business, your business is you. You don't necessarily even have to have a legal business. It could just be an independent proprietorship. By just doing that alone, you can get so many tax breaks in the U.S. You can write off pretty much every lunch, every dinner, you can even write off vacations. Why'd you go to Hawaii? Well, I wanted to go check out some construction techniques there. I spent 99% of the time at the beach, but I did look at some construction projects. So it was a work trip. So you write that off. You get so many more advantages like that.
That's a great point, Jeff. And I will definitely recommend people to do that, because as an employee, especially being an employee in the U.S., you get taxed the highest out of all the other categories when it comes to the workforce. You have employees, you have self-employed, then you have the big business owners, then you have investors. You look at those four classes. Employees get taxed the highest. And I absolutely agree. If a person just make the switch to self-employed, they can get many more tax breaks and essentially have more disposable income for themselves.
Yeah, there's so many things. You can essentially, I did this 25 years ago. I was essentially doing that where I would just be a contractor. So I'd go to companies, I'd say, hey, I can do this. Back then I was doing websites at the very early days of 1993, 1994. And they'd say, okay, so we'll hire you as an employee. You'll be our web guy. And I'd say, no, just hire my company, which is just me as a contractor. And then I wrote off everything. I don't think I ever paid taxes because essentially you can write off almost anything. You write off your car. You can even write off your mortgage or your home or your rent if you say that you're using your place as an office, at least part of it. So many more options. And then once you start to do that, you start gaining wealth because a lot of it's not going to the government anymore. Once you get a certain amount of wealth, you can really expand your business or create a new business or do many of the things that Callan was mentioning.
Yeah, for sure. Personally, you could start off to move to Mexico with something as small as $10,000. Obviously, you can move to Mexico with more, depending on the type of quality of lifestyle that you want to have. But to keep in mind, the cost of living here is low. And the quality of life is much higher. I mean, you look at the dollar and then peso is 18-1 right now. And there's no doubt about it that really is benefiting a lot of expats.